Abba's no condom usage is causing this problem. So apparently, Abba had a expose put out about him by his ex-girlfriend, baby mama, apparently. You know what I'm saying? So I guess we're about to learn some information about Abba and really see who he really is. You know what I'm saying? Or we're about to see a angry baby mama, you know, angry ex say some crazy things. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into the video, learn a little bit more about the situation. But as always, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I thank you guys for all the love and support, for real. Now, let's get into the video.
Hi, my name is Libby, and I was a girlfriend of Abba from Abba and Preach.
Almost everybody knows about Abba and Preach, especially when it comes to social commentary and reaction videos. The duo is from Canada, and I really love their videos. But out of the two, Abba is the more surgical, analytical, and strategic in his approach in comparisons to Preach, with no disrespect at Preach, to be honest. But out of the two, Abba is more known for exposing people who are fraudulent. In other words, people who come online saying that they're one thing and not the other. Abba's good at finding this crisis and exploiting it. And he's done this with several creators, most notably Fresh and Fit, and also Donovan Sharp. He does an amazing job in attacking the conflict of hypocrisy, and he can build his case. He does so by using a high level of intellect as well as comedy in his resolution. And that's why we really love Abba and Preach. And also, let me ask you this. Abba and Preach feel very genuine. They don't feel like they're on YouTube to scam anybody, to make any kind of money. They don't present themselves to be something that they are not. They seem to have a lot of honor and loyalty. And furthermore, they have never had any offline scandals. And one of the reasons because of that is this.
You know, online, there's always a bit of distance. We want to keep our loved ones away from it because it's not easy to manage.
Right.
You know this, right? Like the influence that everyone on Twitter and stuff has on your personal life, it's a lot. And so to have that also trickle down to your family, that's why I'm super protective of my family.
Right.
I don't post them online. They're not on any of my social medias. Nobody ever gonna find no pictures of us unless I'm ready to do that. But even then, I really think about putting anybody's face online.
Abba himself said on No Jumper, he's a very private person. He doesn't like to put himself out there, nor his private life. And that could be because he's a private person himself, or he just doesn't want people to have any ammunition, which makes a lot of sense. But all of that changed yesterday when a young lady by the name of Libby Callion came out to say when she was pregnant with Abba's baby. I want to give a shout out to brother LTTV because he's the one that brought this whole thing out. And of course, I kind of thought that, oh, this can't be true. This is somebody that's looking to, you know, just kind of expose him and just make something up. But then she said this.
Abba is articulate. He is persuasive and he is calculated. Abba is the king of receipts. And anyone who really knows Abba would not willingly put themselves in the position I'm putting myself in right now, unless their experience was significant enough to speak on.
I thought it was pretty interesting for her to open up her expose with this comment. She says, Abba is smart, calculated, and I'm just paraphrasing, surgical, and he's good at keeping receipts. So there is no way I can step into the battlefield without knowing that about his personality. So in other words, she's saying that he's very fact-based. But if I'm going to expose him, that means I'm as fact-based as he is, or even better. Woo! Immediately, she said this so she could win credibility with the audience. And to be honest, it really got me wanting to listen to more of her claims. And she would go on to say that they met in July 2025 and they were having a really good relationship. And then by November 2025, she was pregnant. Now, when she was pregnant, it seems like Abba was very excited about this. I don't believe Abba has any kids, so this would have been his first child, according to her. And he was very supportive at first. But she said this.
We make our first appointment for the abortion, and Abba visits me to be there for me.
No. Wait. See, I did look into this video. You know what I'm saying? I do have some information that my dog may not be putting inside this video. You feel me? So basically what actually happened was Abba was happy about having a baby. She was on the fence about it. She didn't really want to have the baby. Didn't want to have the baby, but she was on the fence about it because she wasn't sure about her and Abba's relationship. Right? So she didn't know if she wanted to be with Abba, and because of that, she didn't know if she actually wanted to have the baby. You feel me? So she kept like bouncing back and forth between wanting to have the baby and not wanting to have the baby ultimately. You feel me? But initially, Abba was very excited, but she didn't know if she actually wanted to be with Abba, according to her words, based off of literally her words. I actually heard it come out of her words, you know what I'm saying? So anyway.
And we don't go through with it that day. And when he leaves, I make another appointment, and I cancel that one. And I think in total, I canceled 3 abortion appointments.
So she's saying that she was going to the hospital, going to have the abortion, then cancel abortion. Mm-hmm. So let me try to be fair to her because, you know, I'm not obviously a woman and I don't have my own child. So they were having some issues in the relationship, according to her. You can watch her whole video to figure out all of it. But she said that she had the conflict going of, wow, after 4 months, I understand that he isn't who I thought he was.
There you go.
But at the same time, as our relationship is drifting apart slowly but surely, I'm telling him that I want this baby. But every time I'm going to the clinic, then I'm not having the abortion. And every time he comes to support me, then I'm changing my mind. Now, from a female's point of view, I can understand, you know, having this conflict or dilemma of, listen, I don't want to be a woman having a baby that will be without a father, or I don't want to have this baby and I really don't know what's going on with Abba if me and him are going to be together. I'm just paraphrasing in her words. So I could understand that. But
she ends up coming out, or she ends up telling him like, yo, like, cause she keeps going back and forth talking about if she wants the baby or not. And, you know, which isn't necessarily bad, but from Abba's point of view, I can definitely see how it can feel like, what the hell is going on here? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you just like playing mental mind games with me? Because he was happy at first, like, no, we should keep the baby. She keeps scheduling appointments to have an abortion, and he's still there for her. And then she finally comes out and says, I want to have the baby, but I want to co-parent. Oh my God, what the fuck? I'm not gonna lie, that's crash out worthy. That's crash out worthy. Because then the whole time he thought, okay, we're gonna be together, about to have this baby, I love you, type shit. Oh yeah, type shit. But now she don't want to have the baby no more with the nigga. I mean, she wants to have the baby, but she just don't want to be in a relationship with him afterwards. And then he kind of goes, hey man, you know what I'm saying? That's where let's continue the video.
I would think this too as a man. If you're telling me that you're pregnant, all right, as a woman, you're pregnant, and that we both agree that you would have the abortion. You have decided that you want to have the abortion. And then every time you go to have the procedure, then you don't have it. My automatic guess would be, well, you're lying about this abortion. You're not pregnant.
But he didn't want to have the abortion. You know what I'm saying? Based off what I've seen, he did not want to have the abortion. But she kept going, okay, I want to have the baby. Okay, I want an abortion. No, I'm not going to the appointment. Shit like that. But he was supporting her the whole way through. You feel me? Anyway.
Pregnant. Okay? That's what I would think. I would think that ultimately you're playing a mind game with me, and really I would lose some level of trust with you. And I pretty much think that when she said this, on her part, it might have been a big mistake, even though she was talking about it, because this is a really, in my honest opinion, a bad admission, because he's losing trust in her because you're saying one thing and then you're doing another, all right? Then she would accuse Abba of being abusive. She has certain text messages to prove her point, and I don't think that these are false because when she pulls up these messages, it looks very similar to his icons online and stuff like that. I want to go over some of them. Okay, so basically he says, just get the abortion, okay? So at this point, he's done. She says, I will keep you updated. I will consider what you said over the phone.
He said this though because I don't think my dog's giving enough. I don't think O'Shea's giving enough information, or just not as much information as I've seen. So he's saying just get the abortion, but he's saying just get the abortion after she said, listen, I want to co-parent. Like, I'm going to have the baby, but I want to co-parent and I don't want to be with you. So basically saying, I'm going to have this baby and you're going to be a baby daddy off rip immediately. You know what I'm saying? And then he is like, all right, yeah, fuck that. Just have the abortion type shit. Like, fuck that. Okay, like, anyway, like, type shit. You know what I'm saying? But type shit. Anyway.
About having the abortion. My values ultimately were not to get it. I'll think more and consider what you're telling me. He says, until then, I think it's best we don't talk. Woo! Now, to be fair, we do not know the screenshot that came before then, because this is one of the first text messages that she showed. And again, she does go into more greater detail, showing more than what I'm showing. I want you to watch her entire video because it's pretty well thought out, but I did think that this was lagging. So she says, I understand. He then says, okay, just so we're clear, if after changing your mind for the 10th time, you decide to have it, I will not be involved. We will cease to talk then. So this lets me know that trust is definitely broken. And I know that people are making videos out there on Abba trying to make him seem like he is a hypocrite.
It's bad. What he said is bad, but also on the same token, it's like, it's pretty bad. He shouldn't have said that. That one he shouldn't have said, but I imagine, which we'll learn later on in the video, and if he doesn't talk about it, I will talk about it. But, you know what I'm saying? He's upset. He's upset like just anybody would be, where it's like, oh, I'm having a baby with a woman and we're going to be together and we're going to have children and live happily ever after. And then all of a sudden it turns to, actually, I don't want to have the baby. Okay. I'm on your side. You know what I'm saying? Women choice. Fuck it. Yeah, do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? And then he supports her every way through. And then she says, actually, I want to have the baby, but I don't want to be with you. That's where it's kind of like, okay, this nigga's we have to understand he's going through a lot of emotions too. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we're all fucking human, and he can have a fucking human crash out. You feel me? And she also crashes out, which we'll see later on in the video. But, yeah, bro. I feel like everything that's happening is very human, bro, at the end of the day. But, okay.
Hypocrite that he accuses Fresh for being a hypocrite or Myron a hypocrite. But I do believe that he was involved at first. Then she didn't have it. He no longer was involved. And he did say that she changed her mind for the 10th time, where literally it couldn't have been 10 times. But again, he was already tired.
I think it was
Let's
3.
look at some of the other stuff. He says goodbye. If I decide to have it, you won't be involved. Got it. So he blocked her. Hello? Girl, he blocked the shit out of you. I ain't gonna lie. Woo! He ain't got time, baby. So let's look at some of the other stuff. So she blocked. Hey, I want to talk to you about maybe the baby. You're so freaking immature just to keep blocking all the time. All right. Let me just.
He blocks her and she reaches out to his cousin to reach out to him or something along those lines. And then he unblocks her to tell her like, yo, what the fuck? Stop reaching out to people I know. Leave this shit alone type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Tell you this. If a man who really cared about you decides that he needs to keep blocking you or unblock you, I mean, like, it's to the point where he don't even want to sleep with you anymore. He doesn't even want a sexual relationship. The question that I want to know is,
no, she broke up with this nigga. She broke up. She said, all right, baby, I'm pregnant. He says, oh my gosh, amazing. Let's have the baby. I'm so happy. Actually, I don't want to have the baby. Okay, type shit. I scheduled an abortion. Okay, type shit. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna let you, I'm gonna be there for you. Nah, I'm not going to the abortion. Okay. Oh, we having a baby. Oh, we had a baby. Actually, I'm gonna schedule another one for this date. Type shit. All right, we not having a baby. Cool. I'm still here for you. Don't worry. I'm still here for you. Actually, I still don't want to have a baby. I'm scheduling another one. All right, bitch. Damn. All right, bitch. What the fuck going on, bruh? You know what I'm saying? I'm still here for you, but what the fuck going on? And then she hit the nigga with, actually, I am having a baby. I'm just not gonna be with you and have a baby. Hold up. That's some shit. That shit'll give nigga a migraine. Like, all right, hold up. The fuck are you talking about? You feel me? I was with you this whole way through. And then he says, and that's when he hits her with, okay, have the abortion. You know what I'm saying? And then she tries to paint him as the villain for saying, because they basically did the exact same thing. She says, I'm not going to have the abortion, but I don't want to be with you. And then the whole time, you know what I'm saying? He had no choice in the matter. He was just going with the fucking flow. You feel me? Because if off rip, he would have said, have the fucking baby. And then after she says that, he's like, okay, don't have the baby. You know what I'm saying? So now he's finally made a decision like, I don't want you to have the baby. You feel me? But she villainizes him for saying that he don't want to have the baby, even though she said she didn't want to have the baby 3 fucking times. But he's a demon for saying that. You feel me? And then he says, you could decide on what you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? He didn't force her to get an abortion. He said, do what you gonna do, but I'm not gonna be in your fucking life. Which is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, he shouldn't have did that. But nigga's crashing out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he'll come too. Which we'll figure out a little later in the video. Anyway, type shit.
Well, what is his reasoning for that? I mean, it's easy for her to paint that he didn't want to be in her life, didn't want to be in the kid's life, and that the fundamental reason that he is blocking her is because he's immature. But no man does that for a woman that he was just crazy about 4 months ago. It just doesn't happen. So there's something or some level of action that a woman takes. And obviously, Abba's not the youngest guy in the world. He's at least in his late 30s or early 40s. So he's not going to be having a lot of patience with a lot of people if something is not, working out right. So he did say this. Hey, I unblocked you for a second just to say, stop contacting me. Woo! So it appears that he blocked her. He wanted nothing to do with her. I honestly believe he didn't believe that she was actually pregnant. But for whatever reason, he dislikes this lady so much that she's sending her family and other people to try to contact him. And maybe she really is pregnant, or maybe she is not, and she's using that as leverage to get him back into the relationship. Regardless of what you'll decide, I'll never keep contact with you. I blocked your cousin, so she's having her cousin reach out. Deal with this on your own. You are not my responsibility. Now don't reach out to me again. Again, a man has to come to a resolution for him to feel like this, and we still don't know why that is. She would continue on to other stuff. I won't anymore because you asked me not to. He goes, I'll wait for the updates on abortion. Until then, I think it's best we don't talk. So maybe he does believe that she could be pregnant. That's a possibility. And by the way, Abba, bruh, you out here no condom chicks that you just met within 4 months. Non-black chicks, you're out here using no hat, you leaving it in. And
outlandish. Nigga said, I'm sorry that I did that line of, sound effects type shit.
I gotta get you, bro. I love you, but I gotta get you. You was getting on fresh for no condom in that Asian chick, Daisy Chan. And you did the same thing. So even if she ain't pregnant, you was leaving it in. You was shooting the club up. I know it be feeling good. And sometimes you gotta watch yourself, family. Much love to you, but you gotta go home and condom it up. Now, it comes to the point where there's this long drawn out message that basically she sent to Abba and Preach's Instagram. So she's supposed to get the abortion. She didn't, and she's still trying to get him to engage with her, which I think is a leverage play. She wants him to get back into a relationship with her. She says this, I'm pregnant, and despite...
No, I don't think she was actually trying to get him back in a relationship. I think she was trying to get him to agree to be in the kid's life. Which is already weird because the reason that she didn't want to have the abortion is because she said that it went against her morals. You know what I'm saying? And he was okay. Like, he just kept following her, like, okay, that's fine, okay, that's fine, okay, that's fine, until she broke up with him. And then he's like, don't fucking talk to me. Which, you know what I'm saying? I don't think she ever went back and say, I want to be back in a relationship with you. I don't think that ever happened. So I don't think that the play was to get in a relationship with him again. It doesn't make any sense, honestly. I don't think that was the case at all.
Is being in a relationship or not. You said you don't care if I keep baby or not, and that you won't be a part of it. You told me you'll never walk out on the child if I got pregnant, and you lied. I will keep the baby and raise them myself. But because I felt anxious 5 months to the relationship, and I told you my truth, because I do care about your life, me loving you and me also feeling unsettling can both exist. There's also some level of like blackmail that she talks about and that he accuses her of.
Yeah.
But I want you to go and look at her video to get the full grasp of that, because she goes into more detail than I'm willing to do so right now.
She says that she's going to reach out to Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit and send and blackmail him and send it to Myron Gaines so that Myron Gaines can release this shit. You know what I'm saying? She also reached out to a whole bunch of other YouTube creators in order to get, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? She said compensation. She said that she would pay them $500 to watch her clips and tell her if it's a good idea. You know, I edit for youngdon. So Dawn said that he actually got an email from her, but he didn't see it. His wife saw it, and that he ultimately didn't know if it was real and was just kind of like, I fuck with Auburn Preach. You know, I don't really know what the fuck this is like about. You feel me? So he just ended up not engaging with it, whether he would have engaged with it or whatever. You get a random email from a random fucking email and you're just supposed to believe what the fuck they're talking about. It's like, nah. But she basically said, well, I want you to look at these clips and think if it's a good idea for me to put it out. And ultimately, Dawn said that he feels like it wouldn't have been a good idea for you to put it out because it's just at the end of the day pretty spiteful. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not really a goal to put this out, honestly. But yeah, that was basically the blackmail, the Myron Gaines shit, and which is pretty bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's in the wrong. He's also in the wrong because he was insensitive to the woman that may be carrying his baby. However, him being insensitive to the woman that's carrying his baby that just broke up with him and is still trying to, you know, have him emotionally there is kind of like, I can understand how it could be fucked up in the brain. Like, you don't really know what's going on. But he eventually reaches back out to her and says, hey, you know, let me know how you want me to be inside the kid's life and, you know, how much, you know, what you expect the dynamic to be. You know what I'm saying? Even though I don't want a relationship with you, or I don't want to speak with you, or I don't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you expect out of this. Which is basically him being like olive branch, like, man, fuck you, but you know what I'm saying? Let me see what's going on with my baby type shit. And then he also started hitting her with the, I'm gonna reach out to your job and all type of shit. Since you want to blackmail, let's blackmail. Which is pretty fucked up also. So they're both honestly just doing the same shit. They're both honestly just doing the same shit. They're both kind of fucked up in their own ways. And yeah, I guess she just wanted to put a stain on his name. But for the most part, I don't think it's sticking, to be honest, because it's a lot of personal shit. And it's also a lot of like, she's being emotionally abusive and he's being emotionally abusive at the same time. And even calling it emotionally abusive is kind of crazy, but that's the only way that I can kind of explain it. But type shit. They're both just humans at the end of the day, and humans hurt each other and they say things that they don't mean to say, you know what I mean?
So at the end of her video, she will say, and she did have somewhat of a logical approach, because to take on somebody like Abba, you're not gonna win by being very emotional, because he's a surgical type of guy. The point that she wants to lay out to all of us is that Abba appears to be one way in presentation on video, but on the flip side, his private life does not match up or does not have parity to what he presents to us in real time. That's the whole argument. In other words, Abba is no different than Myron or Fresh and Fit. And then she did threatened that she was going to expose him to Myron and all that. But again, I would like you to go and watch her video in all clarity, in all fullness. I want to say this as a content creator who's been in this business for a long time. We make mistakes just like anybody else. A lot of us come on and say things because we really do believe that in the case of Abba and Preach, you should not disrespect women. In the case of, you know, the red pill is horrible for women or guys go too far. In the case of Abba, they probably obviously believe that. But however, in relationships with women or in your personal life, people can struggle. And there were definitely some missed errors here that Abba made. And I do believe that this is him talking. I honestly believe that his story needs to be fulfilled and told out to the public because, again, he just would not stop talking to her for no reason. Clearly, it was something that she is not revealing, you know, and she's trying to just make it seem like, oh, she got pregnant, and that's the reason why he just cut off contact. And also, she was saying that she saw things about him that she didn't like, but clearly, you were trying to get in contact with him. You were telling him about how much you love him on the Instagram. In the Instagram DM, you admitted that you cried because you wanted to be with him in a relationship. So which one is it? Is it that you didn't think that he was the man you thought he was, and that's the reason why, and that's why you didn't want to be with him? Or was it the fact that it was the opposite way around? Like, she has some conflicting things going on in her presentation that I think leaves a lot to be desired. I cannot wait for Myron to come in on this. I'm pretty sure it's going to be funny, and I'm here for it. So guys, what do you think? You should wait.
Yeah, Abba, I'm pretty sure he made a 2-hour video. And I'm saying I didn't watch the video. Dawn watched the video. He also watched her video. You know what I'm saying? I've watched her video as well. And you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you're trying to put a stain on his name and shit. Like, oh, he's not the guy you guys think he is. He's a human just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? He makes mistakes. And he also feels emotion as well. You feel me? He went on an emotional roller coaster and then he started to probably think to himself, this shit ain't even real. Fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? Show me it's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, show me it's real and then, we'll, you know, type shit. So he probably tried to pull her card. What ends up happening, it seems like O'Shea didn't actually mention it. She actually got the abortion. She got the abortion and then that's when Abba reached out to her and said, okay, you know, how do you want me to be in this kid's life? Because she had the abortion and didn't tell him. And after that, he kept like blowing her up and was trying to get in contact with her. And she was like, oh, I'm not gonna interact with you when you're acting like this. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, she already had the abortion, which she should have just said, I already had the abortion. You know, or that's based off of my interpretation of what the fuck happened. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she got it after and it just kind of sounded like, but it sounded like she got the abortion. He kept reaching out and that's when he started spamming her, just like she was spamming him, and made it seem super weird that he was spamming her. And when he didn't respond, she was blackmailing him. You know, she didn't respond. He started blackmailing her. You know what I'm saying? They were doing the exact same thing. I'm not gonna lie, they might be a match made in heaven. You know what I'm saying? Or shit, a match made in hell. Fuck. But yeah. So they basically just kept doing the same thing, and I think he eventually tells her like, okay, or she eventually tells him like, I had the abortion, and then you know he feels like she never wanted his kid and aborted his kid, you know, according to, you know, some of the things that he said inside his video. His video is 2 hours long, by the way. Y'all can go watch it if y'all want. But yeah, so that's how he feels. He feels like she didn't want the kid, and that's why he even said, like, if you decide to keep the kid after the 10th time of flip-flopping, like, you obviously don't want this kid. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where his head was as well. Like, you got rid of the kid and I wanted it the whole time, but you just kept flip-flopping, and then also, you know, put me in emotional distress because you said I want to have the kid, but I want to co-parent and shit like that. So I can understand both sides. On her end is probably more analytical than his end, honestly. Like, she was being probably very analytical with it, because I'm pretty sure before they even broke up, she was recording like phone calls and text messages, things of that nature. If you watch her video on her fucking home screen, she has a whole bunch of fucking recorded messages, bro. I was like, what the fucky? Actually, I don't think I watched her entire video though, honestly. So there might be some shit that, you know, I may be missing as well. So definitely go watch her video. You know, if you want to go watch his video as well. But yeah, type shit. Y'all let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if nobody told you today, I love you. Peace.